In this lesson we're going to touch on surfaces. Now, with a surface we can create basically anything we like. We can create our roofs out of surfaces, we can create our floors and our ceilings out of surfaces, but there's a number of things that it does come in handy for. One of the things it comes in handy for, in my case, is basically a kitchen bench top. Now what happens when we will do kitchens later on in another lesson is to create a bench top that has an island bench or a breakfast bar, etc. So when you put a surface in, if I just sort of click in and just come in closer onto the area I want to work on, if I just pick a point, I can type the distance in whatever I want to. I can just drag down. You will notice as I pick the first 2 points and then drag down, there's an arrow following it. If it's going to be a surface that's going to be sloping, that arrow is pointing up. In this case where I'm doing like a breakfast bar for a kitchen, it doesn't really matter because it's going to be a flat surface. So if I just pick another point here, come across, come back, come out here, and then just sort of finish that off somewhere close to being square, I then end up with a dialog box up here where I can define my surface. You'll notice that I've got a lower point, an upper point, and a slope value, etc. So this upper point, remember I'm saying that those first 2 points across the back are the lower point where this arrow is pointing up. So if I wanted the lower point to be at 0 and the upper point to be at 900, then this point out here would be at 900 and that would be at 0. In this case, because I want it level and I want them both to be at 900, I just type in 900. But what you need to do is to click on this little lock. So that locks that in at 900, and then on my lower point I can then click into there and say I want to lock that in. So I've locked that in, that stayed at 900. If I hit OK and then come in and plop a camera in, just have a look over here, you will see there's my bench top sitting up in the air there, but basically level. Alright, so that's basically just putting in a level surface. Now what happens with roofs? Why I want to talk about roofs and surfaces is because when you do a roof, you'll only be able to do a certain amount with it before it becomes too complicated to do anything more with. Once that happens, you then have the ability with a roof to convert it to a surface. So what I want to do is I basically, over this window here, I want to add an awning. So what I want to do is I want to actually bring the slope of the roof down just as a section so it sort of creates an awning over that window. Now if I go and use my roof functions by touching the roof, right click and going break, I'm going to break 2 points. I'm going to break a point there, right click, and I'm going to break a point over here. Notice how I've added segments in there. So I can then grab that middle section and drag it out. See what's happened? Similar to adding another portion in which we did with under the scullion lesson. That's not what I want to do. So if I untick that and get rid of those 2 breaks, what I want to do is I want to bring a section out, but I don't want to have 2 valleys and 2 hips. I just want to bring it down on the slope. So I can't do that under the roof function. So what I need to do is convert a roof to a surface. Now it will look exactly the same because I've got a surface in here that looks exactly the same as a roof. So I'm saying okay, that's the roof I want it on the ground level. Now if I touch the roof edge, so it still says roof cover, but if I touch it, see how it's actually no longer a roof. It's all into individual segments. I can touch this section over here and I can touch this segment over here. See how the arrow is pointing up? Okay, so now you will also notice that with a surface, notice how I've got the RLs at the lower points and the top points. That's one handy thing to know because that'll sort of come in handy when I do a gutter because I'll take that into account. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to be able to modify this surface, and I want to shape it to come out on an angle out over there as an awning. So if I just come in closer, highlight the surface that I'm going to work on, right click And now you should have the surface commands as additional menus on your right mouse click. What I want to do is I want to add a surface node. What a surface node is a break, similar to that break point of the roof. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to break it there. See how it added a break point? I'm going to add another one, and I'll do it over here. Add another one, because what I want to do is I want to create 4 nodes. One there, anywhere you like. Just sort of grab them. Then, with those nodes, see what I can do with them? I can just drag them out. So if I go and draw some geometry lines in there, just with your standard layout line or something like that, you can then reshape that roof. In plan view, that's what it looks like. In 3D, if I place a camera and have a look at that, that's what it looks like. See how I've done that? I've now created an awning by dragging the roof down. Now, let's go back and have a look at that in 2D. If that went the other way, if I highlight that surface and grab that blue point in the middle, hold my mouse button down and drag it into the building, go back and have a look at that camera view, which is camera 2, see what it's done? It's cut a hole in it that way. So that might be a handy thing to know when you're you've got a recess like a courtyard area or something like that. You can then just put some exposed rafters in there. Alright, so if I just undo that, that'll just pop it back down as the awning, and there you have it. So that's converting a roof to surfaces, and also using a surface to put in a kitchen bench top. Thank you.